Hope you're doing really well this morning. As you know, last night we served the apartment complexes immediately behind the facility there at Crestwood. We're able to love and connect with members of the community and give away over 100 backpacks with school supplies for the children in that community. We've been partnering with the leaders there for some time now, and this gave us a great opportunity to continue that relationship. So, really thankful for those of you that leaned in with us, that showed up, and that served. It was a blessing to them and to us, and we look forward to continuing to heighten our presence in this neighborhood and the community that God's placed our building. This year, you're going to hear a lot about the theme of neighbor love as we seek to be more strategic to embody the gospel in the places that God has put us. By virtue of doing the event last night at Crestwood, we weren't able to have our regular family meeting here at the church that we would have done on the first Sunday of the month. So we'll do that again in September, the week after Labor Day. But by virtue of not having a meeting, we weren't able to make a number of announcements that are important in the life of the church. So I thought I would record a simple video this morning just with some key updates. One of those is in regards to our schedule here at the church. As you know, we're going to ramp back up for the fall, and things change significantly here in the life of the church as college students come back and everybody gets settled back in with school and back from vacations. And we've communicated consistently here over the last several weeks, but wanted to make sure once again that I put before you that we're going to transition back to two services on Sunday, September 9th. Sunday, September 9th, we'll be back at 9 o'clock and 10:30. So same service times as we had last time during our own season hours. Went back to one service over the summer, and now we'll be back in two services heading forward. During both of those services, we will have core classes offered. There'll be more information on me and who will be teaching those classes coming in the coming weeks. But what you need to know is two services starting Sunday, September 9th. Also, as we ramp back up to that, the next 2 weeks, we're going to be doing some volunteer training here at the facility. We'll scatter into some different roles during the 9 o'clock hour as we seek to all use our gifts in meaningful ministry here in the church. And then I'm going to do a little mini series on the art of neighbor love. How to are we strategic and not just developing disciples, but actually multiplying disciples, being effective evangelists in the places that God has put us, loving our neighbors, being meaningfully present. So we're going to do that here in the auditorium at the 9 o'clock hour, the last week of August and first week of September. There'll be a little introduction to that for those of you that don't have a volunteer place here in 2 weeks. So just think in general, hey, I need to be at church at 9 o'clock. There's going to be volunteer training and then Art of Neighbor Love core classes for the next several weeks. And then starting September 9th, everything will pick back up again with core, two services, and the works will happen there. And then on September 9th as well, that evening we'll come back together for our family meeting. So it should be great times. In regards to finances of the church, things are going really well. We typically give you an update during our family meeting on financial health of the church. As always, summer is a bit of a challenge for us, but by God's grace, we finished last month. So finishing last month being the end of June, finished June about $50,000 ahead of our budget at this time. So thank you for your generosity and giving. It allows us to do things like Crestwood, but also allows all the ministries to continue to thrive here at the church. So we're thankful for that. We're monitoring it closely as we head into the fall and prepare for the next year's budget cycle, what shifts we may need to make in the budget heading in. But in general, you can feel good, be encouraged with what God's doing through the giving of the church. I want to say a personal thank you for those of you that loved and prayed for Sarah and I while we were away for 7 weeks doing our sabbatical and travels out west. It was a tremendously encouraging time for our family. We'll share more about that as we head into the fall. But God was really gracious for us. As many of you heard and know, we started the church with the premise that every 7 years we would have 7 weeks of space for pastors to get away, to set aside their responsibilities in the church, to be refreshed, hopefully for a lifetime of faithful gospel ministry. And the church has been incredibly gracious to us in affording us that opportunity to do so, and an opportunity that most pastors and many churches don't have. And so Sarah and I extend our genuine thanks for that. Thanks to the pastors who kept ministry moving here. We've got a great team, and God's refreshed us, and we're really excited to be back as we head into the fall. If you've been around our church for any length of time, you know that myself, Toby, and Hugh all started basically at the same time in the life of the church. And so over the coming couple of years, we're going to cycle through various pastors taking that 7-week stretch away from life and ministry here at the church in order to be refreshed. We're scattering those. Toby will be gone in the fall for September and October. He'll be away. We have a great financial team in place that's going to handle those aspects. We're giving the deacons some responsibility for care here in the facility. Jimmy is giving care for our youth with pastoral support around him as well. So we've got a good team that's leaning in to pick up those pieces, but do want you to know we announced that at the end of the summer, but since we hadn't had family meetings, want you to know that that's happening again, as you did for us. Encourage, pray, love on Toby and Julianne. They've actually been several decades of pastoral ministry, both here and in previous churches. It's the first time they've had an opportunity to do this as they're transitioning into empty nest season with kids being out of the house. It's a great opportunity for them. We're super encouraged to be a part of that and recognize that God's been incredibly faithful to our church and generous to us and allows us to do that. So that will be coming in the fall. Also in the fall, I'm going to begin a teaching series through the prologue, the introduction to the book of Genesis, first 11 chapters. We'll probably put our toe in the water in Genesis chapter 12 as well, and a series called Opening Statement, where we're going to set the context for all the scriptures and, in fact, all of life that I believe begins in those opening chapters through the book of Genesis. And we're also going to try to bubble up to the surface this consistent theme of God being a God of mission and our responsibility to be on mission with him in the places that he's put us. Let me conclude by encouraging you to that end. As you have opportunity in our geography, this is still a place where it's very common for back to matched with kind of a return to normal, perhaps even almost a New Year's resolution type culture where people have in their minds, I need to kick back into gear some habits that maybe have waned in our life. And one of those is often some connection to a local church. This gives us a great opportunity with families who maybe have their name on a membership roll somewhere but not be connected to the life of the church, or just radically secular neighbors who have no connection to the things of God but are kind of jarred into some new sense of normal with kids heading back to school and things settling down. This gives us a great opportunity to open our homes, to invite them in, to love them, show hospitality, give care, but also to invite them to join with us in the context of our weekly worship here at the Church at Cherrydale. And so would you be an inviting people? Would you take opportunity to invite the neighbor kids to ride with you to come to church? Would you invite your coworker over for a meal and talk to them about the things that excite you about your local church and the ways that they could be involved in the ministry here? We hope that this is a place that you feel comfortable, that you find joy, that you find a sense of shared mission. And as we share in that mission together to multiply disciples, we all, myself included, need to take the responsibility to be sowing seeds of gospel love, generosity, and care to all those that we interact with. So would you this week kind of bubble to the surface in your mind the names of some people who you're just not sure where they're connected, if they're connected to Christian community, if they're believers, and would you find some meaningful ways to tell them about your church, and more importantly, tell them about your Savior, that you would be invested in their life. And we hope to talk more practically about some ways that we can all grow in doing that over the coming weeks. So we're really looking forward to the fall. Hope these were orienting data that was helpful to you as we ramp back up. As always, we're available. We want you to reach out. If you have questions or anything's unclear, we want this to be a place where the pastors are accessible to you as Cherrydale members, and look forward to what God's going to do in all of our lives as we head into the fall.